Now, to come full circle, and not even full circle, but to give another shade of light onto it, you will always, in every peaceful protest, you will always have insurrectionists, you will always have opportunists, and you will always have anarchists who want to seize on the moment for them to loot and to plunder. Right? You have people out there who probably don't care 1 cent about Black lives, don't care 1 cent about the movement, don't care 1% about anything except for what they can seize upon this opportunity to steal. Yes. Big surprise. Is there anybody out there surprised that this happens and this exists, that you're going to find people in the middle of a peaceful protest for Black lives? You're going to find people who want it to turn into rioting and looting so they can get a TV. This happens in every community. And the only reason I bring that up is because I don't want there to be any disillusion, or I don't want anyone to feel as though they have to defend every person and every picture that comes across that screen, right? Some of the people rioting and looting are useless to our cause, detrimental to our cause, right? But there are some people who are out there legitimately angry about their experiences at the hands of the Milwaukee Police Department and the Milwaukee's Sheriff's Office. Guarantee you, because you cannot have this type of years of systemic oppression and people not experience it and then act on it. So now they've called out the National Guard, right? Sheriff David Clarke, America's black white supremacist. He's the from Dave Chappelle. He is David Clarke is the black white supremacist. I mean, he hates black people. Listen to this. I had an MF and an N word for him. Listen to this dude talk, and you will realize he is the quintessential black white supremacist. He's the sheriff of Milwaukee County, including Milwaukee. He asked Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin to send out the National Guard. And of course, the National Guard is there. They've instituted a curfew for teenagers. You know, they're doing what they can to restore the peace. Fine. Good. Nobody wants violence. Nobody wants anyone else to get hurt. Nobody wants the destruction of property. I'm just not going to cry over a single piece of property. I will cry over it. I will mourn over anybody who is hurt or killed, God forbid killed. But I'm not going to spend 1 second crying over a damn piece of property unless it's mine. just being real. And I didn't have insurance on it. You know, side note, somebody stole my car back in 2011. And I was actually like, yes, because I had some great insurance on that. I'm like, damn it, I want to get rid of this car. The bastards returned it. They went on a joyride and returned it. So I'm not going to cry over property. Property can be replaced. Life cannot be replaced. So they brought up the National Guard. There's a curfew, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. I want to challenge then Sheriff Clarke. You called out the National Guard? Fine, we'll see your National Guard, and we're going to raise you a DOJ investigation. I want the Department of Justice to come to Milwaukee, to the Sheriff's Office, as well as the PD, and I want you to investigate in Milwaukee the same way you did Ferguson and the same way you did in Baltimore, because I guarantee you, I will put a year's salary on it, that they are going to find the same type of pattern of behavior where they're disproportionately targeting black people and they are profiting off of black people. And this is just endemic to American policing. I don't, at this point, I don't care about trying to press charges against a particular officer. Because to get federal charges against a particular officer, the hurdle is so high, it's all but insurmountable. Forget that. What I want is the DOJ. This is all they're going to do, right? They're not going to press charges. I mean, they do have a lawsuit against Ferguson. Good, right? But I want the DOJ to do what they seem to be capable of doing and nothing more. They can't do anything more than go and research. So go and research Milwaukee. and come back in a year, and I guarantee you Sheriff Clarke will look like the black white supremacist that he is, because the environment that is fostered in Milwaukee, it's one of the most segregated cities, regions in the nation. Milwaukee has a history of problems of, so I know for a fact, you want to be bad and call out the National Guard, fine, do what you have to do to protect property, but if the DOJ comes knocking on your door, how many people would have to be fired? And how much evidence would be stacked on top of all the other evidence that American police agencies and sheriff's departments have a problem with systemic racism and overwhelmingly disproportionately targeting the black community? Is there anybody who's going to take me up on that bet? Because I know Sheriff Clarke won't. I just want to give you a couple of stats that I have here on Milwaukee. So, like I said, Milwaukee is the most segregated county in the entire nation. Hang on. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Most segregated in the country. Yeah, no. Most segregated in the country. And hang on, let's see if I have. You actually have to see it. So I'll share the tweet for those of you who are listening in. So there's the racial income inequality, the largest racial achievement gap, the highest black male incarceration rates. Milwaukee is 70% black, but the state is only 7% black. So that should tell you the type of concentration and segregation that you have there. Milwaukee is 70% black, yet the entire state of Wisconsin is only 7% black. That should tell you about the segregation. Half of Wisconsin's black neighborhoods are literally jails. I mean, when you have this, so okay, fine. That's that. Two things you're going to find in that type of scenario. You're going to find violence and crime. Three things. You're going to find violence and crime. Yes. You're also going to find treatment from. You're going to find people who are just ready to explode. And the reason they're ready to explode is because you're also going to find the third thing, which is a police force that targets and systemically targets the minority community there. So I don't care what anybody, you know what? I don't know anything about Seville. He might have been guilty as hell. I don't know about the case, but and they probably do need the National Guard. But one thing I do know is if they do a DOJ full investigation like they did in Baltimore, and they expose it and they report on it and they publicize it and they show it, we are going to find the same exact, probably even worse, the type of racist and systemic oppression that we saw in Ferguson as well as in Baltimore. And I wanted the DOJ to do it, and I want them to do a new one. I think they did one back in 2010, 2011, but they should do a new one, because I want there to be a city by city, county by county case made to show that everything that we've been saying has been true. Not for our sake, because we just know it, because we experienced it, or at least our cousins experienced, or twice removed. We know we've seen it firsthand, or we know someone who's seen it firsthand. But for people who have just casually dismissed it as, they're just exaggerating. Nah, bitch, we're not exaggerating. It is as bad as we have described. And even though it may not be the person, it may be that Seville Smith was guilty as hell. But you know what? Here's an opportunity for us to shed the light on all of the problems that are going on inside of that county and that city.